Hello and welcome to episode 133 of Coach Quip. I'm Coach Chris.
I'm Coach Robyn.
And in today's episode, we are talking about a pretty timely issue here, talking about immunity and how to boost your immunity.
We are talking about this one a lot because everybody's sick, right? If you travel a lot, if you have kids, if you're upping your training, you might feel a little bit run down. So couple that with spring. We are officially in spring now, wildly changing weather. Allergy season is amuck. We really want to start talking about how to boost your immunity now because it is more timely than ever.
I've been Sniffle City this week.
And every time I'm like, am I getting sick?
Yeah.
And it's like, nope.
We are, definitely COVID changed us in a lot of ways, but certainly everything is like, how sick am I?
Yeah.
Can I leave my house? What is my status here? And also, like, can I train?
Yeah.
And that's something that people are also thinking about. So we're going to be talking in this episode about how you can boost your immunity. And we're going to start off with regular exercise.
Yep.
So regular exercise, sounds pretty simple for our athletes, but having a practice of movement can help keep us on the healthier side. It can help to keep germs away. And it doesn't help keep germs away, but it helps keep us
fighting them.
Yeah, fighting them. There we go. That's the right way to say it. But
it doesn't actually repel.
Yeah, like it's back. I worked out today. Yeah, like literally germ defense. But if you balance high intensity workouts with our lower intensity training and recovery, we have a better chance to balance the stress in our body, which can help keep sickness away.
Number 2 is avoiding overtraining. So alluding from the last one, overtraining, so doing too much high intensity, too much volume, especially if you're not easing in and having cutback weeks and recovery and all that good stuff, it can actually lead to immune suppression, which is what we don't want. So in general, listen to your body, incorporate rest days, please, into all of your training schedules, and also avoid pushing through illness or injury. This is big. This is where we're right here. We are gesturing is our recovery lounge, right? Being able to, on your recovery days too, really recover, right? So contrast tubs and boots, all of that helps your lymphatic system scrub out all of the extra byproducts of waste, helps reset that central nervous system, and helps you ultimately avoid training and boost your immunity.
Yeah, we did an episode ways back, it was before episode 100, about the benefits of compression therapy and the boots. And
we did that one in boots. That was our best one we ever recorded.
It was most comfortable. It was like very, very therapeutic. But yeah, so check that episode out for more details about how the boots actually help the lymphatic system. But that is a secret hack that everybody who's an Edge member has access to right here. Number 3 is balanced diet. So this is coming from a guy who ate Irish soda bread for like 3 days straight because it's so good.
It is good. It is not a vegetable or a fruit.
It should not be the foundation of my diet. So maybe that's why I have the sniffles right now. But you should consume a well-balanced diet rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, and healthy fats. And we want to make sure that we're including certain types of foods. So those ones that we often hear associated with immune boosting features like vitamin C, but also includes vitamin D and vitamin E and zinc and selenium, which help support immune function.
If you have questions, like specific questions about that, we also have Coach J-Ro on staff. She is our registered dietitian and I think the best sports dietitian in the city. I mean, she is like on it, so she could always help you create an entire list of what types of foods fall into those categories. In that note, immune boosting foods. So we have as well immunity boosting foods like garlic and ginger and turmeric and mushrooms and probiotics that can really help dial up your immune function on top of a balanced diet.
Yeah, going along with that, we have to pay attention to our
water.
Hydration.
We're holding up our water bottles in case you missed us on YouTube.
So it's so important to maintain proper hydration levels before, during, and after your workouts. And just like, life hack, drink more water. It helps with basically every single function of your body, from being able to focus, to have energy, to flush toxins, to stay healthy. Top to bottom, water is your secret hack. So we want to make sure that we're focusing on hydration. For some of us, that might mean also sports hydration,
Yep.
making sure that we have the appropriate electrolytes when we're working out and whatnot, and then being moderate with your caffeine intake, which is why I raised my water bottle to you and not the near empty coffee cup on the floor right now.
I have that too.
Moderate consumption.
All right, you've just flowed into the next one, which is moderate alcohol and caffeine consumption. So just know that these two things can actually impair your immune function a bit. Obviously, alcohol. I love wine as much as the next girl, but let me tell you, it is still a toxin. Like any way we slice it and dice it, alcohol is a toxin, and that's how it's processed when we consume it, as well as your body trying to get it out of your system. And it can absolutely give you a little dip in that immune function. And then specifically to caffeine, we just know that it can dehydrate you a little bit, as well as, even more importantly, interfere with some of your sleep and stress levels, which we really, really, really need you to sleep, which is lucky number 7.
We had made a killer list here of just flowing into each one.
It's basically a yoga class.
A yoga podcast of tips here about immune boosting, and sleep is definitely a big one. So making sure that we're getting quality sleep and enough quality sleep. I have the Whoop band, which tracks my sleep. I know other fitness tech also does that, and that's a good guide to start. Not necessarily the end-all be-all, but we want to make sure that we're getting enough hours of sleep because why?
Because if we don't, we're going to be a hot mess.
Well, we're going to be a hot mess, but also fitness only happens in the recovery phase.
You fed it to me and I messed it up.
It was such a softball, but yes. So our progress is only happening when we're recovering, and our body is recovering and repairing itself when we are sleeping. So we're shooting for 7 to 9 hours, and that, of course, varies by individual. It depends on a lot of things, right? Like how stressed are you? Like how well are you hydrated? How sick are you already? These all play into how much sleep you might need. How much training have you been doing? The bottom line is that if we are compromising on sleep, we are weakening our immune system. So we really want to prioritize sleep. And I have athletes who are traveling, and I tell them, like, if we're doing all these other things that are jeopardizing our immune system, I would rather have you go to bed early than try to knock out a late night workout in the hotel room because you had a busy day. Sleep is a priority when we are in those higher risk situations, like travel or have a sick kid or have a stressor at our job and whatnot.
I know episode 113 that we did on sleep too gives you some really great actionable things that you can do to become a better sleeper. If you listen to that one already, we are terrible sleepers, but there are a lot of habits that you can stack. I know personally I've been doing the 1 hour rule of I am going to bed within 1 hour of the same time every single night, and I'm getting up within 1 hour of the same time every single morning. So even some days I get up at 5, sometimes I get up at 6, but it's not deviating too much, and it is absolutely making a difference, which is pretty awesome because at night I'm actually getting tired, which is great.
Yeah, we're working on it.
All right, number 8 is managing stress. Not a surprise that this one's on the list, but think about engaging in stress-reducing activities, right? This can be everything from meditation, yoga on Sundays at Edge, deep breathing exercises, or even hobbies. These can all help to lower your cortisol levels. Cortisol, we know, actually suppresses immune function. So if we can do things to combat against it, guess what happens? We stay healthy.
Yeah, my wife recently introduced me to the concept of neutral time.
What does this mean?
And I had never heard of this before, but neutral time is like time that they describe of just like sitting on a bench looking at the beach.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
It's like single tasking. It's not on a screen and not doing work related activities, but just like being present with yourself. And so, if you think about our existence right now, there are so many inputs, social media, news that's constantly flooding, advertisements, conversations, things to follow up on. It is so rare that we have the opportunity to just have that neutral time where you are just resting, you are just being. And maybe that does come through, lead into having a hobby, right? And like doing a craft night or something, but like something that is like low stakes and is just like mindless and just allows you to be present in the world. I cannot remember the last time that I did that, honestly.
How long does one need to do neutral time? Is there guidance?
I don't think there's guidance on it. I think it just is what feels
it.
comfortable. But, our impulse is you're in the line at the grocery store or you're walking the dog and you pull out the phone to like be multitasking, right? So like
it's too much.
Yeah, just doing what you're doing to manage that stress. So our next one is supplementation. Going back to the sort of nutrition and wellness, there might be opportunity to supplement with vitamins and minerals if necessary, if you have nutrient deficiencies. And this is something that I would say you'd want to work with a professional on. You can identify these through blood tests, something like an inside tracker, or through your general practitioner, or under the guidance of a dietitian or your healthcare practitioner.
Yeah, we don't ever want you just to take things because your friend's taking them. Like, get your shit tested, and then figure out what you need along with your provider. Number 10 for me is a big one. It's the one that we should always be thinking about, which is proper hygiene, right? And it's a really simple one, but we know in the last 4 years, this really does make a difference. So practicing good hygiene by washing your hands frequently, and for that majestic 20 seconds, right? Saying happy birthday twice, especially after training, right? Touching a lot of things or being in crowded places, and reducing the risk of infections. I am going to put one in here about wearing a mask when traveling. I am the queen of getting sick on planes. Way before COVID, that was always a thing. And it's one of the things that I haven't, do always what you're comfortable with. But for me, it's the thing I have not wavered on. And the one time I didn't, because I was flying with the dog, I got super sick. And now I'm like, nope, every time. So, if that's you, if we are the same, take that tip.
It's something you can control, and you know that about yourself.
Yes.
It's not that hard. Next up is quitting smoking, which actually is hard for a lot of people.
Really
but yes, some athletes are smokers, and that shouldn't stop one from attempting to be an athlete or doing their fitness practice. But there are definitely a lot of benefits to not smoking. And smoking damages the cells of the body, which is pretty clear, right? It's a toxin, it's a poison. And it also attacks white blood cells, which are essential in fighting off infections. So we have to couple that with the fact that smoking increases inflammation in the body, and inflammation is a huge, huge issue for the immune system to deal with. That weakened immune system is just an entry. It's an open door for infections and for illness. So quitting smoking, if that is within your power, take the steps to start to at least smoke less, and then drop it altogether. That will be a huge boost for any athletes who are smokers.
Last but not least, vaccinations. So staying up to date with vaccinations, including flu shots, COVID shots, protect against your common illnesses and reduce infections during training and competition seasons. This has been really interesting to watch unfold, right? Because now we have a say in when we get vaccinated. A few years ago, it was like 11 p.m. on a Tuesday, I'll be there, right? But because of that, I think a lot of people, myself included, will try to carve out that perfect time. But just making sure that it actually happens is really important.
Yeah, a quick note on this. So there's not just one solution here that will make you immune to colds, flus, and COVID in the future. It really is personalized, and so we want to make sure that you don't fall victim to those sort of quick fixes. Like we said, there's not a supplement or a special food that you can start to eat or a probiotic drink that's going to save you from getting sick. Your best bet is to focus on the basics, really nail the basics. Nutrition, hydration, rest and recovery, moving your body through fitness and exercise. That's a great start to boost that immune system.
All right, stay healthy, people.
Thanks for listening to Coach Quip. Original music performed by Mend. Follow us online on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Edge Athlete Lounge. Our podcast lives in the blog section of our website. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review this podcast, and you can check out the show notes for additional ways to contact us. Ready, set, onward we go.